Hello and welcome to a yoga cooldown practice. Whether you've just done mixed martial arts, gone for a run like I did, or any other form of exercise, this is a great way of stretching off at the end of your routine, stabilising out your body. Without further ado, let's get straight into it, starting from a ragdoll position. From here, relax your neck. Let all your tension go out. If you need a slight bend in your knees, then please do so. Otherwise, you can start to stretch your hamstrings as well. Maybe adding a light rock side to side whilst you're folded over. Most importantly, remember to breathe. Okay, so coming down into your yoga squat, feet facing out, sitting right down. If your ankles aren't flexible enough to have your heels on the ground, then you can adjust this by putting a block under your heels, or maybe staying slightly higher up with your heels off the ground. Now placing your right hand on the ground, twist out to the left, and maybe even look up to the sky. Now swapping sides, left hand goes to the ground and right arm will come up, twisting out to the right hand side, once again possibly looking up to the sky. Returning back to center and then slowly rolling vertebra over vertebra all the way up to the top, reaching your hands up to the sky, looking up and then folding back over again, back into our ragdoll position, remembering to release our lower back and any tightness in our hamstrings. Try to not have any tension in your neck, letting it hang loose naturally. Coming back into our yoga squat, and once again we'll repeat the same pattern. So right hand will go to the ground, twisting out to your left, and then swapping over, so left hand comes to the ground, twisting out to the right hand side, coming back to center and then slowly rolling up vertebra over vertebra all the way to the top, and then reaching your hands up to the sky, taking a nice big inhale before exhaling back down, and repeating this pattern one more time in our ragdoll position, exhaling out any tension. Now into our yoga squat, preparing to do our twists. Right hand comes to the ground, twisting out to the left hand side. And then if you can, maybe adding the bind by looping your right arm around your right knee. Swapping sides, so twisting out to the right hand side, left arm to the ground, and once again grabbing hold of your bind if this feels accessible to you. This is a great way of releasing out the shoulders if you can grab a hold of the bind. Unraveling and then coming up vertebra by vertebra one last time before we get further into our stretches. So once you've taken your big inhale all the way to the top, now bring your feet together, palms to heart center, then clasp your hands behind your back and bring them both over to the left hand side, and then a side neck stretch to the left, adjusting your chin to whichever part feels like it needs the most amount of release. Okay, so swapping sides, so bring both hands over to the right hand side, stretching to the right with your neck. This means there's a good gap between the same side shoulder and ear. Now bring both hands behind you, arching your back, looking up if it's comfortable, stretching out your lower back by folding forwards, exhaling any tension, releasing your shoulders, remembering to keep a relaxed neck. Release the grasp of your hands and then come to a plank position and going through chaturanga to upward dog, or whatever variation you prefer. Look over your left shoulder, then look over your right shoulder, and then come back to center before we meet in downward dog, pushing back through the shoulders and trying to get our heels to touch the ground to stretch out our calves and hamstrings. Preparing to lift the right leg off the ground, opening the hip out to the side, and then bringing our right knee all the way to the front, placing our right foot on the ground, and coming to a warrior one position. Breathe from here, turn your body to the side, preparing for triangle pose. First reverse the triangle pose, stretching back, and then come forwards as far as you can and touch your hand to the ground or on your shin alternatively. This should be a side stretch and you may feel it in your right hamstring as it releases. Okay, so preparing for our Skandasana, so bending our left knee, keeping our right leg straight and coming all the way down. If you can, put your palms to heart center, otherwise you can use your hands to assist you. Turning to the back of the mat, meaning left foot's forwards, lifting up for a low lunge position with our right knee on the ground. Remember to breathe, release any tension you might have in your jaw, straightening out the left leg and folding forwards. It's a great hamstring stretch. Try to keep your back as flat as possible. Now bending the front knee, coming forwards and into a plank position through chaturanga and upward dog, and we'll meet in a downward dog position. So repeating the same side, lifting up the right leg once again and then placing it between your hands and coming up to a warrior two facing the other side of your mat. This time you're going to come out to a 5-star position, both feet facing outwards, and then you can come into a squat position, bending both knees, hands come to heart center, and then bring both hands to the knees and stretch to the side. So this means the thumbs are facing forwards and you're just stretching out one side to the other side, twisting through our spine and releasing our shoulders. Once you've done this a couple of times, come back to center, come up to a 5-star, and now turn your toes towards each other, heels out, and we'll fold forward in our splits position. If this is easy, then actually reduce the width between your feet and it will get into your hamstrings even further. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold even deeper into the stretch. Now come all the way up and a warrior two facing the front of the mat this time, and you're gonna come forwards and bring your hand to your hip and then swap it out and reverse the warrior. So coming forwards and then going backwards. This time, place both hands to the ground, step back into a plank position, chaturanga to upward dog, then push back into a downward dog position. Preparing for the other side this time. Left leg comes up in the air, hip opens out to the side, then place your left foot between your hands, coming up to a warrior one position, looking up to the sky, remembering to connect to your breathing. Then turn out to the side into our triangle position. Reverse the triangle, and then come forward as much as you can, releasing that left hamstring, and twist out to the side, making sure your body isn't turned towards the ground. Breathe into the tension and release anything that's unnecessary. Slowly come up into our Skandasana, bending our right knee and coming all the way down to the ground, maybe using our hands to support us, then turning to the back of our mat for a low lunge position, left knee on the ground, lifting up our hands to the sky, maybe even looking up here, stretching out our quads and our back, before straightening our right leg, folding forwards with as flat back as you can. Rebend the right knee, coming forwards and into our plank position. Chaturanga to upward dog, then back into our downward dog position. Once again, repeating the same leg up into the air. So left leg comes up, placing it between your hands, lifting into a warrior 2 position, facing the back of the mat, and then 5-star, facing the side of the mat, and come down into a squat. So once again we'll repeat the shoulder stretch, thumbs facing forwards, placing the hands on the knees, and then stretching side to side in your own time. Last twist before we come back up into our squat position, then lift into a 5-star, turn the heels out, then fold forwards, stretch our hamstrings, trying to align the heel of our hands to the heels of our feet, so making sure that our hands are probably further back than feels comfortable. And then breathe here, knowing you're releasing your lower back and your hamstrings. Inhaling flat back, exhaling fold forwards once again, then coming all the way up to a 5-star position, facing to the front of our mat this time, warrior 2. Then you're going to come forwards, stretch out the sides, and then reverse the warrior. And you can see here a bit clearer that I'm not using my hands to help with my base, so this is quite a good core exercise you can do as well. This time both hands come back to the ground, kicking back into our plank position, chaturanga to upward dog, then returning to our downward dog position, seeing how your body feels after that sequence. Jump forwards and then halfway lift, inhaling, exhale, fold forwards, then inhale all the way to the top of a mat, palms come up to the sky, and then palms to heart center. Now clasping our hands, maybe the more unusual side this time, arching our back, lifting our chin to the sky, and then folding forwards, releasing out our shoulders, maybe adding a subtle bend to our knees if this feels necessary. Gently releasing our hands to the ground, walk, step or jump to the plank, upward dog, then into our downward dog, and we'll repeat the sequence we did just a second ago. So lifting our right leg up into the air, opening our hips out to the sky, then placing our right foot between our hands, inhaling to Warrior 1, then exhale out, facing your body to the side, then reverse the triangle and come forward into our triangle, once again releasing our right hamstring and twisting out to the side, and if possible looking up to our left palm. Coming up and then down into our Skandasana, bending our left knee, keeping our right leg straight, and possibly using our hands to assist us as we turn to the back of the mat, placing our right knee onto the ground into our low lunge position with our palms facing to the sky. Fold forwards, straightening out the left leg, trying to keep a flat back if possible, and then bending the left knee once again, kicking our left foot back into plank, maybe do chaturanga with one leg, into our upward dog, then downward dog position. Repeating the same side, right leg comes up, placing the right foot between your hands, Warrior 2, 5-star facing the side of the mat, and yoga squat. This time you can lift both heels off the ground for extra stability exercise, then come up to 5-star, push the heels out to the side and fold forwards for your wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold even deeper. Then come all the way up into our 5-star position. Warrior 2 facing the front of the mat. Come forward into our side angle. Then reverse the warrior. Side angle. Reverse warrior one more time. And then both hands to the ground, kicking the left foot back. Maybe doing a one-legged chaturanga to upward dog, then downward dog. Doing the same sequence the other way around. Lifting your left leg up, opening the hips out to the side, then placing the left foot between the hands, lifting up for Warrior 1, inhaling, then exhale to the side, reverse the triangle, then come forward as much as you can, and then place the hand on the shin or the floor, looking up to the side, breathing into the side body. Slowly coming out the pose into our Skandasana, bending into our right knee and stretching out our left leg. And if you need to use your hands to assist you, facing the back of our mat into our low lunge position with the left knee on the ground. Then straightening out our right leg, folding forwards with as flat a back as possible, for rebending the right knee and then kicking our right leg back, maybe doing a single leg chaturanga to upward dog, then pushing back into our downward dog once again. Lift your left leg into the air, place the left foot between the hands into a Warrior 2, then then face the side to our 5-star position. Yoga squat, adding the heels off the ground if you want an extra challenge. Then back into our 5-star, pushing our heels out to the side and folding forwards for a wide-legged stretch. If this is a bit easy, make sure to reduce the width to get deep into our hamstrings. Then inhaling and exhaling for a deeper fold into this. Slowly come out of the pose, lifting to our 5-star position, then warrior 2 facing the front of the mat. Come forward to our side angle and then back into a reverse warrior. One more time, side angle, reverse the warrior. This time placing both hands to the ground, kicking our right foot back, maybe for a single leg chaturanga to upward dog, and then back into downward dog. Breathing, remembering to be present in the moment. Now bring our right foot to the outside of the hands, placing the left knee to the ground, and for the moment stay on your hands, feeling how the stretch is here. And then if you feel like you can, bring your elbows to the ground for maybe a more intense stretch. Up to you where you want to place your hands and elbows. We will be here for a bit, so focus on your breathing whilst you're here. Okay, so slowly coming out from this pose, setting up for a pigeon pose. Right ankle behind the left wrist and right knee behind the right wrist. Stay here for a bit, stretching out our quads and our hips before coming down to the ground. Maybe your head places on top of your hands. Otherwise, feel free to stay on your hands and just focus on being in the moment, breathing through the pose. Last couple of deep breaths before we unravel, sitting on our right hip, bringing our left foot all the way around, and then setting up for a twist, putting our right arm around our left leg, turning out to the side, and maybe even go for your bind if you know this and it's accessible. Otherwise, just stay in the previous position. Let go of the bind if you took it, unraveling into our downward dog position, and then preparing for the other side. Left foot comes to the outside of both hands, placing your right knee on the ground, and then staying here, breathing into any tightness, letting go of any unnecessary tension you may be holding in your jaw or your breathing. If you can place your elbows on the ground. Otherwise, just find what is best for you today. Slowly coming out of this position, preparing for a pigeon. Left ankle behind the right wrist and left knee behind the left wrist. Keeping on our hands to start off with, releasing any tension in the hip, especially the left hip right now. And then if it feels comfortable, fold forwards onto our elbows, placing our head on top of our hands if this feels comfortable, and breathing here for the next couple moments. Last couple of deep breaths. Now slowly rocking over to the left hip, crossing our right foot over the left knee, and then turning to our right, placing our left elbow over the right knee, and maybe grabbing onto our bind if this feels comfortable. Otherwise, just focusing on the twist, keeping a good posture. Unravel from here, sitting back into our butterfly pose. So feet touch together and leave a decent gap between your hips and your feet. So that's a loose variation of the pose, folding forwards, and you can bend your back for this one to get slightly deeper. Last few moments here, trying to get as relaxed as you can, letting gravity take you deeper into the pose. Coming out the pose, assisting your knees towards each other, sitting back and rocking forwards and backwards a couple of times, massaging your back and spine through utilizing the ground. Place both feet onto the ground, preparing for our bridge pose, lifting our hips up and maybe grabbing a basket clasp with your hands, rolling our shoulders underneath to get even more stretch from here. Breathing deeply from the diaphragm. Releasing the clasp if you've got it, slowly coming down vertebra over vertebra, and then placing your hands onto your stomach and letting your legs windshield wiper side to side, getting a bit of a twist and loosening out the hips. Once your knees go over to the left hand side, then keep them there, stretch your arms out to the side looking to the right, and place your left foot on top of your right knee if you want to have a deeper stretch. And of course, keep connection to your breathing. Now let your knees go over to the right hand side, maybe crossing your right ankle on top of your left knee, looking over to the left, stretching out the other way, maybe even shutting your eyes as you start to close this practice down. Slowly release your legs and come into our final pose, Shavasana, corpse pose, great moment to be present and fall into a meditative state. So I highly suggest you just spend these last couple moments feeling how your body is after this practice, after your workout, and just letting go. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave you here.